Good morning. It's 10:50 a.m. in Turkey, Izmir. I like to make my bi-monthly, let's say, English video. Today, I have some important information I want to share with you. This is historically, it's been calculated and made a statistic and graph by Bloomberg, and it gives us the months of the year, the best months, worst months of the year, where we can make money or not. And uh, to give you an ease of research, I am also attaching one document which is recent, about 3 days ago. I didn't spot this information from this site, but I did spot it from another video. Uh, because there are so much information in the internet, but I'm a historically gold bug, let's say, not just gold investment. Of course, I do invest in mutual funds and real estate with mortgage rates, not direct cash investments. I don't like cash real estate investments. I rather buy, instead of one house, I buy more than one houses with loan, okay, long-term loan, because it gives me a very good leverage, especially in Turkey. There is this difference compared with the US. Here, the inflation is rate is very high. Although you can get better cash returns in the US, getting a 30-year loan. So if you can maybe just barely pay the down payment, the house pays for itself with the rental fees. But in Turkey, the mortgage term is much shorter, like 10 years. But due to inflation, the purchasing power drops so quickly that you can definitely say after 2 3 years it becomes just like US. The rent pays the mortgage payments monthly, and better than the US, the house is completely yours. Let's say in 6 7 year, you don't have to wait 30 years. So because the remaining loan becomes so small, you can just close it down with your monthly payment. So that's the superior advantage of countries where you can invest with very high inflation rates. If, of course, if you can provide a very good, uh, not increasing fixed mortgage rate, which we did in the past. Right now, they are not too as good as before, but they are still favorable, because you can always, as even if you buy a house at a high interest time, high interest mortgage rates, you can always refinance it, or if you can't refinance it, you can just sell the house at when the interest rates come down, because there will be so much demand. The house you bought for, let's say, $100,000 will be selling for $150,000 because of the demand, a huge demand coming. This is similar in the States. If the rates in the US fall from 7 to 5 or 4.5%, there will be 7.5 million requests for new house purchases. So this is already calculated. So the lower the interest rates, more crowded the party is. Okay. So going back to the gold story, I will like to show you the Jerusalem Post, which, as I said, I follow many channels and information. So let me, because this was shown on their chart recently, so I'm just reflecting it from there. Now you can see on the chart and the news. I will go to the news and read it to you together, so we can all go together. Okay. Now, September is bad for gold, but this year is interesting. Gold hasn't returned positive returns in September since 2016. So this is a 7-year average study. The facts behind the curves could shed light on where that money goes instead of gold. Okay. Over the past 7 years, gold has an average negative returns of more than 1% in any month except for September. Now, as you can see in this graph, these are positive returns, and this is September, which is the biggest negative, close to 4%. There is 2 months which are still below, but they are not shown in white. They are slightly like 1% low, which is February and June. So talking about the worst months might be your best months to buy, though. That's the difference that I look at. Rather than feeling sorry about September, maybe September and these months are the best months to start collecting, because it's only 2-3%. It's not even worthwhile to sell your physical, even if you know it's going to come, and even if it's assured it's going to come. It's not worthwhile to sell your physical gold and rebuy it with the margin. So this may be good for people who buy, let's say, paper gold. Okay. So, but on the other side, I'd like to tell you which months are the best performing months. As you can see, October is not is a recovery month. November is not so good, but it's still positive. But December and the following January, when we go all the way to the back, it's next year's January, these two are the best months. As you can see, they are close to 4% and 3% each. So this makes about 7% increase. And if you bought it at this dip, that means you can make, if history repeats, you could make 10% even more profit investing in these stages. So I hope this is helpful. And the curse of the 9 month has been well documented and researched. The source is Bloomberg, by the way, the Bloomberg. And precious metals aren't the only asset class with such month-dependent performance trends. Equity markets like stock exchanges, have historically also performed horribly in September. Since 1945, S&P 500 has returned -6 on average in September. So I already reported that in my Turkish video that September is going to be one of the worst months, as noticed in the history. Okay. A tale as old as time, the recent Bloomberg report suggests the September curse has confused many economists who feel markets behave efficiently. Unlike the S&P 500, however, gold struggles in September have only been trading for about past 8 years. Over 30 years, gold has brought returns in September as well. But recent market volatility in the summer months could give insight into why the metal drops as autumn begins. As I said, I don't feel sorry about it. That's where I buy. I like to buy cheap and, sell it when it's high. And if I have a project like buying a house, buying a car, buying a boat, a ferry boat, a helicopter, that's when I sell my gold. And traders, and not towards recession. Recession are the best times to buy and be on gold. Reason now the Fed is just recently starting to reduce the interest rates. Maybe it's going to last deep into 2025 for many, many months. We'll see. So as the interest rates go down, they are good for commodities and gold as well. Gold is the king of the commodities, as I know. The answer is dollar and bonds, at least in recent history, repositioning. Treasury note futures have averaged 7% gain over the 10 years. The gold has risen every September, sporting an average gain of 1.2 in the month. So this is when people run to more secure bonds, when these, let's say, better return products are not let's say, not certain to give. So this is looking like a certain gain, but it may be a certain loss as well, because fixed rates never prove to be a good investment over time. In September 2022, dollar index reached a recent all-time high of 113. Now it's around 101. Yes, today it's around 101 as well. This is, of course, compared to dirty laundry in the dirty laundry bag. Okay, these are currencies which are all inflationary currencies compared with each other. So I don't trust this number. I note this number, but it's not against gold. It's against other paper printed material compared to each other. So it's no surprise that gold has dropped during a month when inversely correlated dollar has performed strongly. So the stronger the dollar, the less stronger is the commodities, because all commodities are priced in US dollars. Now, as the dollar will weaken, I think this is what the rest of the article is saying. As the dollar gets, it's not a long article, so uh, uh, investment goals, plenty of signs suggest continued drop in the dollar. I'm adding, due to the reduction of interest rates by the Fed, and continued upswing with gold as the Federal Reserve prepares to cut interest rates. That's what I added. However, given the typical performance of precious metal in September and the fact gold is nearing all-time high, it's possible the trend of the curse continues. So this is for September, of course, for the curse to continue. Now, I'm not just going to show you one article, which is already 11 minutes. So it gave you a good idea when physical gold, the historical best months for physical gold to go up or down. But I also want to give you a glimpse of, for the Turkish viewers, which are majority of my viewers, although I make this video in English, it's for maybe learning, practicing some English, some economic terms maybe. I like to go to the Turkish government official mutual funds comparison chart to give you an idea how the performance of gold was in the past 1 year to 5 years as well. Now, I'm skipping to the other chart. Okay. Right here, I just chose an arbitrary fund, which is TUA TEB Altın Fonu, which is just arbitrarily chosen because I'm not going to use the fund itself. I'm just going to discuss things. When you go to the bottom, as you see, this fund brought 8.38% in TL, more than close to 8.5% in 1 month, 14% in 3 months, 6% in 21 months, 6 months, 6 months, 21.5%, and a year, 67.10%. So here is the chart for 1 year. As if you press 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 6 months, 3 months, you can see their individual charts as well. But the main issue I want to come is here. For the last 5 years, gold brought in 895% in TL terms. The recent increases, I will explain you later, because of the pressuring of the currency this year, the returns in TL are almost equal to the returns in US dollar, which are incredible returns. Well, this is what an emerging country practices can make you rich if you are aware of the situation, just like the mortgage, getting mortgage houses in a country with very high inflation can be very profitable. So gold is number one group of products. Then BIST 100 is the first, like your S&P 500, the 100 best stocks in Turkey. So gold performed better than that, just like the S&P as well. And then this is the funds of mutual funds of gold. They did not perform as good as physical gold. As you see, they are about 50, 95, 25, let's say, about more than half of 50%, almost less than the gold itself, physical gold, because they only keep 80% in physical gold. The remaining 20%, they can invest freely. So if they had bought gold only, they could have made better. Okay, in 5 years. Now this is the common precious metals return, which is 813%. And this is the TEP fund, which is one fund that we are checking right now. And so it's 813 versus 895. So about 80% more in 5 years if you invested in physical gold. Then comes BIST 30, the best 30 companies in Turkish Stock Exchange. They performed only 760%, while gold performed 800 and almost close to 900%. Okay, so about 150% better in 5 years. And now we will see the euro and gold. If we had just kept our money in euros and gold, which are not calculated with interest here, they are just pure prices, you could have made some money keeping in money market accounts, in the US, or, just getting small percentages of interest paid by some American banks, let's say. Euro is made only 500%, whereas gold made about 900%. So it's almost close to double. And same with dollars. The US dollars were almost equivalent to euro increase, 495%, again 500% against 900% in the first 5 years. So does gold always perform so good? So I like to go to another section. I'll show you the shorter terms so that you can make a good comparison. Now I will go to 1 year period. It's going to change automatically. As you will see, TEP fund, which is a gold fund, performed 67.12, whereas gold performed 65.34. So this year, the fund gave better returns than gold itself, not slightly, about 2% above. Now, comparing gold with the precious metals fund average, they gave 63.3. So physical gold still performed better than the majority of all funds compared, about 2% above them. This is physical gold. And this is Turkish inflation, which is government inflation, TÜİK inflation, consumer inflation, 52% roughly. If you had invested in your money into banks, you would have gotten 47%. So if you kept it in gold, you made 65%. And if you kept your money in euros, you only made 31%. US dollar, 26%. Now the very sad part. Okay, even US dollar and euros, money kept in currencies this year, forget the gold, which brought 65%, performing terribly in the last couple of months, weeks even. The best 30 stocks of Turkey just brought in 24.6%, let's say 25%, against 65% of gold. Much more than 150% more gain in gold compared to 30 stocks, Borsa Istanbul, Stock Exchange Istanbul 30, and Stock Exchange 130 is even worse. It's 19.94, let's say 20% versus 67%. So this is more than 200% better money is made in gold. So this is so I don't think we don't need to look shorter 6 months, monthly, weekly, because okay, this 1 year shows you how terrible they performed and how terrible they are continuing to perform. I will show you the month just to see that. As you see, gold gave 6%, and these are all valuable metal exchanges. And even the bank returns are 4.64, 50% less than gold. Euro brought in 3%, and this is consumer consumer inflation 2.47, and this is US dollar just brought in the last month 1.34%, and these horrible ones which are minus is stock exchange 30 and stock exchange 100 went minus 1.37. So it's getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, I don't know how many more months this is going to continue, but I'd like to give you some relief. So I'll go to last 3 years instead of 5 years, 1 year. Now you'll see a different picture here. This shows you over long term how different things may happen. Now in 3 years, we see the best 30 stocks perform 590%, 100 stocks 572.63. So stock exchange performed better in the last 3 years with the exactly same numbers. Gold gave only 464%. And this is gold fund. This is the mixed gold bag. Physical gold still performed better. US dollar gave 303%. So gold performed better in last 3 years against dollar, about 150%, and 280% in euros. Again, much better than that gold. But notice that the stocks still, with their ugly condition right now, in 3 years performed better. I think this is useful to you right now. And let me go back to, okay. It's a 21-minute video in English. I hope this was useful to you all. And in a few minutes, I have to make my third video, which will cover the mutual funds of Turkey, TEFAS funds. So I have to make preparations. Probably in half an hour, it's going to be my third video. So I hope you all the best. Always have a space. You don't have to buy it all gold, but I showed you all the history. So it's up to you to decide how much gold you want to keep or not. I hope to see you soon again, probably another once again this month, and wish you all the best.